Hey guys, Holly here. Welcome to day 14 of the 21-day You Woke Up Worthy journaling challenge. Today is reflections. So I guess this would be reflections part 2. We did one at the end of the first week, and now at the end of the second week, it's time to look back and say, what have I learned? Have I had any aha moments? So I've learned a lot. And it's funny because this is now 2 or maybe even 3 days in a row that something has happened, that the timing was just right, that it went right along with the video that I was due to film. So reflections on what I have learned. I've learned that, and I think I mentioned this in the first reflections video, that there were some things that had bothered me more than I realized that I had been carrying with me. Some things that I thought that maybe I had dealt with them more than I actually had. The biggest example, the best example being my dysfunctional and now non-existent relationship with my father. That was something that I kind of thought I'd made my peace with. But when I really dug into it and I was really honest about it, I had not dealt with that as much as I would have liked. I had dealt with it to a degree, and then I had tucked the rest of it away. And I think that the reality is, in some way, I'll probably be dealing with that for the rest of my life, because I don't think that there's ever going to come a time where I'm just okay with the fact that I don't have a relationship with my father. But I am hoping to get to the place where I actually am at peace with it. I've done the things that I could do. I've changed the things that I could change, and I have to fully accept the things that I can't and be at peace with them. The world is full of all kinds of awful things that are completely out of my control. And so I can't allow myself to continue being any more upset about my father's choices than I can be for the choices of, someone on the other side of the world. I have no control over either of those things. The only thing that I can control is how much I choose to drag them around with me in my life. And I really just don't want to do that anymore. The other thing that I've learned, and this one's been a little bit more recent, it's been hitting me a little bit more recently, more this past week. I am learning that the language that I have used when thinking and speaking about myself really needs an overhaul. Now, I don't want to, I'm not coming, turning into one of these people that's like, needs a safe space and, am threatened and attacked by words. I don't care about any of that. But there is a certain weight to words. It doesn't matter what someone else says about me, but it does matter what I say about myself. And for so many years now, I have referred to myself as broken. That's the word that I've used to describe myself, probably more than any other word. Broken, I'm damaged. And that's just not the way that I want to look at myself anymore. When something is broken, we throw it out. Or maybe we fix it, but it still is never like new. And I don't want to think of myself anymore as something that should be tossed aside or given up on, or is never going to be good as new. So I really want to get out of the habit of referring to myself that way, and instead I just want to think of myself as growing, changing, learning, failing, falling, but getting up and going on. And so that was a big one for me, maybe an aha moment. It just kind of one day I thought to myself, I have got to stop referring to myself as broken. And then I kind of thought, where did that come from, and why does it matter? Well, it does. And here's a big one for me, that this is another thing that has kind of come to me recently, and I encourage you to think about this with yourself too. Think about the people in your life that you care about, and think about how you feel if they start talking negatively about themselves. If someone that you care about sits there and says things like, well, I know I'm a loser, I know I'm a failure, I know I'm a bad mom, I know I'm a lousy husband, I know I'm, they're really down on themselves, and that's why everything I touch turns to crap, or whatever it is. It's upsetting when we hear people that we care about come down on themselves that way. And I've realized that that's what I have put people that care about me through. That people that I care about have had to listen to me talk about myself like I'm worthless. And it's upsetting for me to hear them come down on themselves. It must be upsetting for them to hear me talk about myself that way. And why should I want to put them through that? If I hear them doing it to themselves, all I want to do is make them stop. They probably want me to stop too. So if I can't do it for myself, I should at least do it for them. I want to do it for myself, but sometimes I'm easier to motivate by other people's feelings. And, that's another thing that I got to work on. But in the meantime, I may use it to my best advantage by, saying to myself, stop making your mother miserable. Stop, ruining your fiance's day. Stop bumming out your best friends. So that's another thing that's that I've kind of aha'd over recently. And I've learned I've still got a long way to go, definitely. Work in progress. This 21-day challenge isn't going to be enough to get all my little ducks in a row, but I feel like we're all facing the same way. But I've also learned just how far I have come. And it's amazing. It's amazing the changes that I have gone through. And earlier in the video, I mentioned that, for the last couple of days, things have happened that have just lined up perfectly with the video I'm doing. And so here I am sitting here thinking about what have I learned, figuring out what am I going to talk about for my reflections? What have I learned? Where are my aha moments? And I got a message today that was both unexpected but also not surprising. So in a past video, I discussed, actually I think it was in 2 videos, I discussed an individual. One was when I did the video about people that I needed to forgive, and the other one was, I think it was the one where we talked about having boundaries and standards. And this was a person that I'd had a very long-term toxic friendship with. And unbeknownst to me, we still shared a social media connection that led to this person seeing my videos. And just because of the details that were given, obviously knew that I was discussing them. And I guess sat on it for a few days, kind of thought it over, and then chose to shoot me a message and kind of, offer their take on things. And so it was unexpected because I didn't realize that this person had seen these videos, but then realizing that they had, their reaction and response was not surprising. So, I mean, it's very similar to things that I've heard from this individual in the past. There's always an element of, oh, I know I'm not perfect, this, that, and whatever, but, you know, but you did this or whatever. And that's what surprised me the most about the whole thing, honestly, was my reaction to it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, my very first initial immediate reaction was to quickly fire off a response and point out the BS that I knew existed in it. That was the initial response, is that there were some statements made that I 100% knew were garbage, and I could prove it. And it was right there on the tip of my little fingers to fire off a quick response and say, I call BS and here's why. But that was immediately followed with, why bother? What's it matter? And I realized that I didn't care the way that I once would have. My peace of mind is worth more than trying to prove I'm right to someone that they've got their own perspective, their own way of looking at things. And maybe at this point, I'm the villain in someone's story. My words were harsh or whatever the case may be. There was comments made about being publicly blasted and how anyone that, you know, knows both of us knows exactly who it was I was talking about. But I have no regrets, because anybody that knows both of us already knew about these things. It wasn't, you know, there were no revelations there, and the rest of the world has no idea who I'm talking about. But here's the part that got to me, because there was kind of a manipulative element that was there, that's always been there. But in the past, I would have had guilt, and guilt would have motivated me to, and I don't even know if guilt's the right word. Honestly, I think it would have just been more like, maybe guilt, but like guilt mixed with, I don't know. It's like this person has a gift for tapping into the parts of you that feel sorry and, you know, whatever, or feel pity or sympathy or whatever the case may be. And I've realized that a lot of that in me, it came from a place of feeling bad about myself. And so it was really easy for someone to, oh, woe is me, and play my sympathies. Because it was like I felt bad for other people that felt bad about themselves. And now it just felt different. It felt like I spoke my piece, they spoke their piece, and that's it. It doesn't matter. They're gonna have their viewpoint on things, and I'm gonna have mine. And the truth of the matter is, it's not a healthy relationship. and is not something that needs to continue. And I know that I am better off without that person in my life. And because of that, I have to assume that they are better off without me in their life. So there's nothing to be angry about. So that was actually the revelation that really came, is I'm actually not angry. And there's a point in time where I think I would have been, that I would have, and like I said, it was there a touch in the beginning, that there was that part of me that wanted to come right back with the, I call BS. But then immediately it was just completely washed over with this wave of, who cares? Who cares? And I wasn't angry. And that was awesome. That was big for me, because I was just kind of like live a little bit on the edge of anger. And I think it was just because of all the frustration and misery that I had in my life, that it just made it so easy for me to just be mad. That was the most comfortable emotion. And I'm just not as angry now. And man, that's freeing. That is, I can't, I'm not quite sure how to really describe it. It's still pretty new. I'm enjoying it, and I'm hoping that this is something that continues, that this feeling, lingers, because this is so much better. So, because I know now that instead of plaguing me for days, this just happened earlier today, and I've kind of discussed it here, and then that'll be done. And I don't think I'm gonna carry it with me tomorrow and the next day and next week and next month, and that is definitely how it would have been in the past. So, yay, let's hear it for growth. So the final thing that I've learned, and it's one of those things where it's like I knew it, but I just didn't really understand the degree. And because I've said this before, but I'm just becoming more and more aware of it. I really do have an amazing group of supportive people in my life. My group is small, but it is real, and it is precious, and it's made this journey a lot easier. I know that it's gonna make all the other steps that I take are gonna be that much easier, because I have people in my life that they're pulling for me, they're rooting for me, they're expressing pride in what they see to be brave moves, or steps that I'm taking to improve myself, my life, pursue dreams. They're excited for me, they're rooting me on, they're watching videos, they're sharing, it's fantastic. I really do. I just have like the best people. So, and it's just becoming more and more apparent all the time, just how fortunate I really am. So that's going to be it for today, other than the affirmations, and see what we have going on for tomorrow as well. So affirmations, ready? I woke up worthy today. Simply by waking up, I am worthy of everything my heart desires. I am a beautiful soul inside and out. I love myself deeply and completely. I am perfect at being me. And I hope that you will join me for tomorrow, day 15, which is called Your Emotional Guidance System. Let's see what that's all about. See you tomorrow. Bye.